But you were saying, you said the reason you didn't do it is because you saw so many of your heroes and
Turn
people
into
you look.
pushes like that,
So
yeah.
who were some of your heroes?
Well, I've still got some, but like, I don't want to go. I don't want to put them in the same category.
Of course, sure, you can categorize them if you want to.
Yeah, I mean, I was a very close friend of the Kray twins.
Okay.
Charlie Kray lived in my house. I was his character reference in his last court case. He got 12 years. It didn't do him a lot of good. I buried Ronnie Kray. I'd done all the security for his funeral. That propelled me into sort of naughty boy stardom.
Why do you think that is? Is it
Well,
because
I
of
don't know what I think it is. I'll tell you exactly what happened.
Please.
I'll give you a little run-in of how Dave Courtney grew, yeah?
Sure.
I'm doing the doorman, yeah? I'm doing this doorman thing. I made one little documentary about, it's called The Bermondsey Boy, and it was about a man preparing to go to prison. And they filming me doing the doors, and they knew I was going to go to prison. There were 7 witnesses against me, and they had permission from the Home Office to film me when I come out, and whether prison had worked, and how many friends stayed loyal, and all that. And on the day before I went to prison, somebody visited all these witnesses, and they didn't turn up. So they'd done this documentary of Dave Courtney, the debt collector, car repossession, rent a clump, and all that. So they got all the bad bits, and then it was going to be easy to make it look like I was a reformed character, because they filmed so much bad. But then I got not guilty. But they didn't know what to do with the documentary, so they just put this documentary on the telly. This is 30 years ago, of this raving lunatic running around doing all these things with thousands of bald-headed blokes all on his side. And what made me different is I'm multiracial myself, yeah? My wife is Jamaican. I have my own mixed-race children. So at that time, white skinheads and black men weren't really genuinely on the best of frame of minds. There was genuine, real racism.
Animosity?
Yeah.
This is 80s?
Yeah, early, My choice of lady made my army multiracial. Yeah, they didn't mind working for me, so I had 600 big black guys, 600 Muslims, 800 white fellas. You know what I mean? It didn't matter to me. You're on my side. The Marines take on all comers, don't they? You understand what I mean? You're all fighting for the same cause, but you're that. And that's exactly the same as my army grew, the reputation grew because of the documentary. The Kray twins wanted to get to know me, so I went to go and see them. I was running all of the nightclubs, the Stringfellows, the Hippodrome, the Ministry of Sound, all my doormen. So they wanted a little bit of it, you understand what I mean? And to do that, they had to get on with me. Well, I was a young, impressionable man at the time. Couldn't believe I'm going to meet the Krays. It's like you go, yeah.
How old were you at the time, first time you met them?
About 26, something like that.
You were 26 when you first met them?
Yeah.
And at that time, were they in London? Were they gods?
No, they were all in prison then.
Oh, they were in prison then. Okay, got it.
Let me explain this. No one or nothing is as big as a myth. Mm-hmm. No one or nothing is as big as a myth. Not the Kray twins, not Dave Courtney, maybe not even John Gotti, Al Capone. I mean, not as big as the myth, or as romantic. The real nitty-gritty bit isn't the same, yeah? Crime is only glamorous in a book or on a big screen. It's not really. You understand what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's not really.
Yeah.
Right. This propelled me into like a naughty boy stardom thing, yeah? And so now the Kray twins died. Now I looked at that as the biggest and best security job, because I had a security company, that I was ever going to get. There's CNN driving around, and most criminals are supposed to conduct themselves like this. They stay in the shadows with their collar up, no pictures, no comment. It's a dirty business and all that. And I chose the best 150 army that I could choose to do the security for that day. I had Mr. Glasgow, Mr. Newcastle, Mr. Liverpool, Mr. London, Mr. Brighton, Mr. Leeds, Mr. Manchester. These were listen, when I see them all meet at my house in the morning, I wanted to invade Iraq. I was like, you can't, I'm too old to say that, but wow, it made you hard, yeah? You're looking at them and it's like, I'm looking at it as the best show of force you can get. They're all coming there to show respect to the Ronnie Kray, yeah, the sort of, the mythical king of the underworld. And a lot of these people never really got on with each other, but for that day, and there was 750,000 people there, and I needed a proper little 150.
750,000. 750,000 people there.
Yeah, come to see Ronnie Kray get buried. As many as Lady Di and Winston Churchill. And I had a meeting with the chief of police, and they say things in your life that you wish you could cut your tongue out, because you should never have said it.
Sure.
My big one was I had a meeting with the chief of police at the time, And I was sitting there talking away about the security and blah, blah, blah. And my little cocky attitude, yeah. He was sitting there with Charlie Kray and myself and all these other people. And he said, well, the one thing we've got, Mr. Courtney, that you haven't, that your little band of men haven't got. And I went, hold on a minute. I said, before we start being rude to each other, I said, the truth is this, I'm only trying to help you. I said, the church holds 250 people. There's going to be 1 million out there. If you don't know the right 250 people to let in, they are going to get the hump with them policemen, yeah? And if that policeman says, you can come to the hole in the ground at the cemetery and you've got to wait outside, if you say that to the wrong person, they are not, they're not policeman fans. Right, so I think the best thing you lot can do is line the streets and leave the security of this to me and mine, because I know what I'm talking about and who I'm talking to. Who do you let come into the funeral parlour and kiss on his dead body, and who do you say no to? If you're saying no to the wrong person, you're going to get smacked in the mouth, mate.
You're telling this to them, to the chief, yeah.
And he's not liking it, but he can't argue with me or saying a bit nasty back because he's chief of police. So he has to talk to me like that, yeah, right? So he went, well, the one thing we have got, Mr. Courtney, that your little band of men haven't. He said, not everyone is a Kray Twin fan. He said, there could be an assassination attempt. And the one thing we've got that you haven't got, he said, is firearms. Now, could I cut my tongue out? What I said was, please, let me tell you something. The one thing you've got that we haven't got is firearm certificates. I said, we've all got a f***ing gun. And I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have said that, because that made me an instant enemy of someone that, from that day on, he went, destroy Dave Courtney, yeah? Destroy anything he does or thing. That hurt me. That genuinely collapsed my little world in that comment. Right? But for that day, instead of hiding in the shadows and the thing, I made it that the world is looking at this funeral. They were looking at all me and mine to big it up, yeah? And I was determined to give you lot over there in America something to look at. You understand what I mean? When John Gotti got buried, I sat and watched it all day. Yeah, you understand what I mean? On my telly.
Of course.
I knew you were going to, so I made sure you had something to look at. But what I didn't realise is that the authorities, the police, looked at that as the very first time of visual proof of organised crime. They said that's one criminal celebrating the life of another criminal has organised all these other criminals to come down here and do their thing. That's organised crime.
Let me ask you, at that time, was it public in London? Was it public already that there was organised crime? Did they all know about it? Did they
but
talk
no one
about
knew
it?
at what extent it could be if it wanted to, yeah? With the invention of the mobile phone and the computers and all that. Yeah, but no one actually knew how organised crime could be until there was visual proof of it. The police might have had odd little things of, wow, and they knew things, but the general public was not aware of.
Really? So
one man could call up all the firms in London and England and Scotland and Wales and Ireland, the Yardies and IRA and Triads and f***ing Yakuza and all that. One man can call that up and get them all standing at the side of a road to protect one man. Wow, we've never seen that before. And that made them go wow as well and put a little clamp down on everything that Dave Courtney done.
So that's when the populace started realizing who you are. Is that when
Yeah,
the
and
name
the next day I was in the front page of the paper as Celebrity Gangster, Heir to the Throne. I don't want that title. Where'd you go after that title? No one runs off in the gangster world into the sunset or lives happily ever after, yeah? You get 35 years wrapped around you or a belly button in the forehead you didn't want. I don't want that. So I quickly, just as publicly, tried to go, no, and wrote a book, Stop the Ride, I Want to Get Off. Yeah, I could see that, because the more famous you get for being naughty, the less naughty you can be.
Interesting.
Right? The more famous you get for being naughty, the less naughty you get. I couldn't even get out of my car and go bang to the geezer in the car behind, because everyone would say, Dave Courtney done it. I see him on the telly, I know him. I can't even be a debt collector no more. I can't run in your house and throw you all around the front room and threaten you and get the money off you. You'll go, Dave Courtney done it. I know him. I see him on the telly. I can't do it. You have to use different methods. Like if I then woke you up at 3 a.m. with a balaclava on, just like where you're lying in bed with your wife, and another couple of geezers got, no, excuse me. Oh, shush, love, shush. It's about that £700,000, yeah? Shush, love. It's about that £700,000, mate. I know you ain't got it in the bedside cabinet. I'll give you a week. Right, babe, be quiet. All right? I'll give you a week, and I will be back here in a week, and if I don't get it, the next time you see me, I'll give you an old there. Right? No, don't worry, I won't nick no ornaments, yeah? I won't wake the kids, but sort the money out, right? That was a new way of doing it, rather than running in and going, you owe him money, and right? So it all went up a gear. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah. Did it hurt your business?
It hurt. It crucified
Yeah,
my
I
business.
bet it did,
They
yeah.
closed down my door company the next day. They didn't hide it. They went into the nightclubs and went, "You employing Dave Courtney security? Then you won't have a license for a television,
on.
let alone a nightclub. Sack him."
I mean, that's the fastest way to put you out of business.
And
to
they
go
did
to
it. They did it.